A very quiet night. The Indian population have been very cooperative.
The price inspectors, they are still going about doing their daily business. We would like for the stores owners to keep in mind that the consumers come first.
Pushes the country into lockdown mode. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Morning Edition. And as always, it's so great to have you with us. Residents across the Bahamas went into first night of lockdown. A full team from the Royal Bahamas Police Force manning the communities and ensuring that persons are not breaking the law. Commissioner of Police Paul Roll on the first night of the national stipulations.
Overnight, we had a very quiet night. No incidents, no major concerns as regards to the enforcement of the emergency orders. The Indian population have been very cooperative, and we want to encourage them to continue to be cooperative as we go through this next 14 days here in Nassau. We will be out and about. The Royal Bahamas Police Force stands ready to enforce these emergency orders and the emergency lockdown orders. And so we look forward to ask persons to ensure that if you have reason to be out, then make sure that they have in their possession their identification at all times. And for those essential workers, they should have their letters. And all the other persons that are required to be to work, we would be giving them a letter, and we ask them to keep a copy of the letter with them at all times and to cooperate with the officers as they move about in their daily commute.
Now, the Commissioner of Police says the required manpower will be in place to carry out the necessary checks and balances. He is also warning those agencies that are not covered by the new orders to comply.
I wish to reiterate the fact that the country is presently in a full lockdown. And what that means is the only businesses that are allowed to operate are those that are specified in the order. So things such as restaurants and takeout, roadside vendors, they are not permitted. And I want to ask persons not to go out and set up on the side of the road to sell, whether that is the mobile food vans or any other devices or product that they may wish to sell. At this particular time, no, you need to wait. I know there are persons who have their crabs and they want to sell their crabs. Well, they have 2 weeks, I would say, to fatten those crabs. But don't come out and sell the crabs because you may lose them. So we just ask persons to cooperate with us and make this process as easy as possible.
Now, the Royal Bahamas Police Force is also responsible for the manning of the new COVID-19 facility at the Cable Beach Police Station. The move is to ensure that persons in quarantine are properly monitored. Mr. Rose shares further details on the unit and how it will operate.
We have a number of officers that we have trained. Those officers will be comprised. We will make up monitors, ambassadors, and responders. The government has also employed so far, I think, 120 persons. We should be training them shortly, getting them up to speed with the software and how the whole process of that will work. We will post some of those officers at the airport, and persons coming in who have been identified by health officials to be quarantined, we will be putting a app on their telephones, which will be able to monitor the persons in the Hubcat Command Center. Will be able to monitor them and to see where they are at all times. It has been placed now in the emergency orders and making it mandatory. So with it now comes penalty for persons who may wish to commit a breach. But the persons in the command center will be able to monitor them, and there's a perimeter, a geofencing perimeter. So if the individual leaves that vicinity, the persons in the command center will be able to know where they are and dispatch one of the patrol units.
The COVID numbers nationwide now pegged at 715, with 36 additional cases recorded on Tuesday. 20 of the new cases are from right here in the capital, bringing the total number to 312. With 11 cases, Grand Bahama is leading with 330. There are also 3 additional cases from Bimini, pushing that island's COVID number to 32. Meantime, as you heard, Bimini's COVID-19 cases are climbing and has doubled since the last lockdown. The island's member of parliament says there is a reason for concern. Here's Atalia Hall.
Bimini now has a total of 29 COVID-19 cases, while the Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, admitting that the recent increase is concerning.
Many residents have reached out and have also expressed their concern, particularly as we came out of a lockdown that we thought was really successful and was able to curb those numbers significantly.
She says some measures must be enforced.
I do believe that at some point we may have gotten relaxed with them, but for the most part I think that we are going to come together as a community again and fight it once again as we did before.
The Member of Parliament is encouraging Bimini residents to remain steadfast.
I know that this entire pandemic globally is causing quite a situation and us having to readjust our lives, but I do believe that Biminites are quite capable of ensuring the safety of themselves and their loved ones, and that they will again rise to the occasion as we continue to fight this pandemic.
Parker Edgecombe says it is imperative for Bahamians to take all of the necessary precautions in order to protect themselves.
It's important that we carry out those safety guidelines, ensure that we are going out with our masks, sanitizing ourselves, washing our hands frequently, and basically just taking all of the safety protocols that have been given to us. At the end of the day, we're going to have to constantly fight this COVID pandemic.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, over in Grand Bahama, police continue to patrol the streets to ensure that residents there are adhering to the emergency powers order during the 2-week lockdown. So far, 20 persons were arrested and will be taken to court for breaching the orders just this past weekend. However, for the most part, Grand Bahamians are said to be adhering to the emergency protocols. With critical care beds at the Princess Margaret Hospital at full capacity, members of the Bahamas Doctors Union and the Bahamas Nurses Union are airing out a list of concerns. The union president, Millicent Bassett, claims the safety of staff on the accident and emergency ward has been compromised. She says with an increased influx of patients, their safety concerns must be addressed.
We need additional rooms, additional spaces to account for the number of patients that we are seeing on a daily basis. Now, our staff is concerned and being compromised. So today, they have removed themselves because of the risk to themselves and their families if they contract COVID-19.
Bahamas Nurses Union President Amancia Williams says the exact same issues also exist for hospital staff across various islands.
And it's overwhelming because there's a shortage of nurses in Freeport. Okay, you have the Department of Public Health nurses. They're doing their best. They leave Nassau, they went to Freeport to help out. All around, the nurses are trying to combat this. They went to Bimini. Okay, this is no joke. We're trying to work with you.
Well, ZNS News reached out to the Minister of Health as well as the Labor Minister for a response. Labor Director John Pinder spoke about their concerns.
But again, you know, this is a new business that's being set. We've never had experienced this type of situation where we had a pandemic that led to so many persons on the front line, you know, getting sick or being injured. So this is new grounds that we're setting. I can only say to you that it does not change any policy in an industrial agreement, nor would it change anything pertaining to the Employment Act.
Stay close. We've got more right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition.
Okay, not a problem. Listen, you're gonna need these masks. Since you have to go, you got to put them on one every hour. And listen to me, you're gonna need some gloves. Blow that up, okay? Put these on, and then you know something. You know what? They gonna go up your nose. Be back in Nassau in 72 hours. Else the Q-tip going up your nose, or you're going in quarantine. You understand? Since you have to go, but be safe. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna stay home and try my best to be safe and hand sanitize. Since you have to go, yeah.
This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health and this television station.
Hi, welcome to Dream Girls. We offer a wide variety of hair care, and your everyday beauty needs.
Here at Dream Girls, we carry a wide variety of products for natural or relaxed hair, such as ORS, Pure Care, and Shea Moisture. We also carry a large selection of weaving, braiding, and crochet hair. You can expect to find a private wig room, a large variety of products, and service with a smile. Whether you're shopping for a party, a corporate event, or your everyday working woman, Dream Girls can make your dream become a reality. Live your dream, experience your dream, Dream Girls.
We have 3 convenient locations to serve you: Village Road Shopping Center, Prince Charles Shopping Center, and Legacy Plaza located on Prince Charles next to BTC Cash and Go. Here at Dream Girls, enhancing beauty becomes your reality.
The Price Commission sending a strong warning to retailers and wholesalers not to price gouge during the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic across this country. President Danny Sumner telling ZNS News recently that team of inspectors will be out in full force to ensure that they are in compliance with the Pricing Act. Sumner says based on inspections lately, there's been an extremely low supply of one of the most popular items on your menu.
Our concern is that there is not sufficient meat on the shelves. So a lot of consumers are complaining the lack of meat. And this is not one particular store. Most of the stores that I've visited and that I've inspected, there's hardly any meat on the shelves. So I hope that the stores owners are aware of that and produce more meat to the consumers so that consumers will not be complaining about the lack of meat. Now, meat is very, very costly in some cases, but meat is something that Bahamians need to complete their dinners or lunch.
Additionally, Sumner says he is pleased to see that the price of eggs have dropped dramatically since receiving a number of complaints during the first wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, he reminded the public that price inspectors will continue to do their job to ensure they pay a good price for their items in these times of uncertainty.
The price inspectors, they are still going about doing their daily business in New Providence and also in Grand Bahama. And like I said, the Chief Inspectors, Ms. Reno Smith in Grand Bahama and Eula May Gordon in New Providence, have their officers checking the stores on a daily basis. And we know that September and August is 2 a rough month for consumers. So we would like for the stores owners to keep in mind that the consumers come first.
The COVID-19 pandemic has certainly impacted the pockets of the Bahamas Red Cross following the cancellation of a number of its key fundraising events earlier this year. But despite COVID-19, the society continues to not only manage its daily demands, but is also responding to the needs left behind by Hurricane Dorian. Disaster manager Lisa Pinder says the Red Cross is now looking at other creative ways to help residents caught in a storm.
We are looking at some additional things, such as how important is it for a person to be able to have like a life vest or a flotation device in the event that there is excessive flooding within their homes. And also we're looking at different survival kits and things that people can use, or we can even encourage people to have in their home.
Regarding the rebuilding process following Hurricane Dorian, Pinder says the concentration remains on home repairs.
We're still in response, Dorian. You may be aware that we are in Abaco, in Grand Bahama, doing small repairs, like those homes that have repairs that they are minor, as opposed to those that are structural or roof damages that are extensive. But if there are damages to houses, we are providing funding through our partners, the International Federation of Red Cross, the American Red Cross, and a couple other partners. And so we want to, during the time right up to this hurricane season, we were doing what we could to get people's homes stronger and a little bit safer for them to move back in.
According to the CDC, in North America annually, more than 6,000 babies are born with a condition known as Down syndrome. This equates to about 1 in every 700 births. In this next story, Lloyd Allen zooms in with a family who says after 6.5 years, their family has become even more enriched with the addition of a special member.
When they got married 8 years ago, Dr. DeLon and Monique Brennan had every intention of expanding their family. One thing they did not expect was with their third child, nicknamed Deuce, was a postnatal diagnosis of trisomy 21, commonly known as Down syndrome, 2 days after their son's premature birth.
The neonatologist actually gave us an indication saying he does have some features that could suggest Down syndrome, and so they did some blood work at that time. They were going to send it off. It would take a few weeks for it to come back. And once it did, then they'd be able to give us a definitive diagnosis once that happened. And so we kind of knew right around day one, day two, that there was a possibility.
Monique says despite her husband being a doctor, coupled with her experience working with special needs children, they soon moved beyond the fear and welcomed their special child.
One of the things that I remember most about that moment was having a conversation with DeLon. We were still in the hospital and having a conversation with him about it. And he was just like, well, let's go. You know, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to, make sure that he has everything he needs. And we're going to give him all of that, just like we do or did for our older two.
Delayed development in motor skills and mental ability, key characteristics of children with Down syndrome. Monique says seeing the signs were slow, but became more clear with every one of Deuce's milestones.
Sitting up, for example, where, and not even for us, because we knew that those delays were present. But if someone else came over to visit and they maybe were holding him, and because he was 5 months old, he should be sitting up, they would maybe go to prop him up, just automatically. And those were things that just didn't come for him at the stages or phases that would be appropriate for those ages.
DeLon added that while some may be concerned, as a first-time father, he holds Deuce as one of his greatest treasures.
Having a child with Down syndrome is like going through life, but taking the scenic route to get there. Mm-hmm. And so it may not be fast, but there are great things that happen along the way. There are adventures along the way that as long as you just appreciate whatever stage and adventure is going on at that moment, you won't worry about what you didn't have or what you couldn't have, and for him, it's always been that way. No two children are the same. And now that we have 4, none of our four are even remotely similar to each other.
Monique advises other parents raising a child with special needs to treat them as normal as possible and to encourage bonds with others, as she believes in the village mentality.
When we were working with him, or as we work with him in his language development, and we started sign language, we would choose specific words for the week to say that these are words we're working on with him. And then we would send out sign language videos to our family and to make sure his siblings knew it. And we would all make sure that we knew those signs so that when anyone came in contact with Deuce, they would use the signs as well.
After 6.5 years in and 4 children later, the Brennans say they could not imagine their family without Deuce, who reminds them daily of that one important benefit of being parents, loving their children. For the Morning Edition, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Good story there, Lloyd. Stay close. We've got more news right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition.
Hi, I'm Dr. Pinder. During this global pandemic, we ask for you to be responsible. As we fight the COVID-19 virus together, we would like to encourage you to do the following. Wash your hands. Cover your mouth and nose with a flex elbow or tissue when coughing and sneezing. Practice social distancing by staying 6 feet apart. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, and if you must go out, wear a mask. We stay here for you. Please stay home for us. To those of you on the front line, we salute you as we continue this fight together.
This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health in conjunction with GD Media Solutions and this television station.
With the national lockdown underway, we now take you out to our Lloyd Allen for your daily or your morning traffic commute.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Well, good morning, LaDon. Good morning, Bahamas. It's definitely that first day leading into that 2-week lockdown. This morning, we're giving you a first look at traffic. This one coming in near the Super Value Store, Cable Beach. And this morning, I am joined by Sergeant Cressenia Johnson from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, giving us an initial look at overnight traffic.
Well, a pleasant good morning to you and a pleasant good morning, Bahamas. Just over the 24-hour period, we've had 16 traffic accidents involving damages. We've had 2 traffic accidents involving injury, and at this time, there are 12 persons who still remain hospitalized as a result of being involved in a traffic accident.
And this morning as well, we are at this food store, and I've noticed that several dozen persons are on the inside, as well as on the bank line over here, just a few persons. I also spoke with one of your officers earlier in the Abundant Life Road area who said that traffic is somewhat disrupted as a result of persons trying to get those supplies, that's water, to help them during this lockdown. Any advice for motorists?
My mind went back to what we spoke about yesterday, and we just want to reiterate, motorists, as much as possible, we are trying to put into place the curbside services. So again, speaking to non-essential travel, I want to hammer on that because that is one of the main things we are enforcing during this period. Social distancing is key. So we're asking the general public, as much as possible, if you have to utilize any area that has curbside services enforced, we're asking you as much as possible to adhere to the protocols, procedures, guidelines, whatever it is that's in place to better assist you. Remember, when you are inconvenienced, everybody else is inconvenienced at the same time. If you are causing the problem, then you're going to be the problem not only for yourself and that establishment, but for everybody who's receiving that service. So you're asking persons to, as much as possible, adhere to those guidelines. Additionally, we face some issues as it pertains to persons parking in handicapped parking spaces. As a result of this, we ticketed a lot of persons as related to those parking areas. We have to be mindful that we are not the only persons utilizing the street. You, along with other persons, the pedestrian, traffic, motorists, and handicap, all of these persons have to get services as well. So we're advising you as much as possible not to utilize those parking areas, park somewhere else, or just wait your turn.
Well, some good information there coming. Of course, today, if you're shopping, you can do so anytime between 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. Reporting here from Cable Beach near the Super Value Store for the Morning Edition, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd, and it's time to stretch those aching muscles with downtown Natasha Brown.
Come on down, Natasha Brown has got you with the ultimate fitness.
Hi, good morning, and thank you again for another downtown segment. There are a lot of us who have been constantly sitting. We have been sitting at our computers. We are sitting constantly looking down at our telephones. We are now in COVID-19, and guess what? Hurricane season at the same time. So for me to help guide you to improve stiffness or common aches and pains that you are experiencing on a daily basis, come and join me with these exercises that's definitely going to help your muscle imbalances and the stiffness you are experiencing. Let's get right down to the first exercise. Let's start off by rolling our neck, taking your time right here. Downtown Natasha Brown, taking you closer to becoming your ultimate you.
And here's a weather forecast this morning. A multi-layer trough in the northwest Bahama is creating some unsettled weather. Mariners should be alert for possible water spout activity in or near showers and thunderstorms. Weather generally partly sunny, hot and humid with isolated showers and thunderstorms likely. Daytime high temperature is 91 degrees. Overnight low temperature is 81 degrees. And this programming note this morning, the Broadcasting Corporation has made some changes to a news broadcast schedule that we want to tell you about starting today on the ZNS television network. The morning edition will air from 8 to 8:30 a.m. TV news updates at 3, 5, and 6. The Northern edition at 6:30 and the National Report at 7 p.m. Remember to stay tuned to the ZNS network, your best choice for local, regional, and international COVID-19 coverage. And that's a wrap for us this morning. For the entire team, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a great day, everyone.